Good morning, everyone. This is Father Nate, missionary priest in Italy. Today is May 24th of 2025, and we're celebrating Saturday of the 5th week of Easter. Today's gospel comes to us from the Gospel according to John, chapter 15, verses 18 through 21. Jesus said to his disciples, "If the world hates you, realize that it hated me first. If you belong to the world would love its own. But because you do not belong to the world, and I have chosen you out of the world hates you. Remember the word I spoke to you. No slave is greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they kept my word, they will also keep yours. And they will do all these things to you on account of my name, because they do not know the one who sent me." Today's gospel presents us with a rather bleak warning. Jesus tells us quite clearly that the world will hate and reject us because they do not know God the Father. Yet we can follow the example of the saint mentioned in today's first reading. This passage from Acts recounts how Paul met St. Timothy and started off with him on a journey that would lead both of them to heaven. If we consider just a little the life of St. Timothy, we can find an example of how to live in joy despite the difficulties that Christ warns us about. In the beginning of his second letter to Timothy, Paul writes, "I am grateful to God, as I remember you constantly in my prayers, night and day. I yearn to see you again, recalling your tears, so that I might be filled with joy, as I recall your sincere faith that first lived in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and that I am confident lives also in you. For this reason, I remind you to stir into flame the gift of God that you have through the imposition of my hands." So first, we can see from Paul's letter the need not to let ourselves be discouraged or become frightened by anything, be it our circumstances, our failings, or anything. Paul's letter has a joyful tone as he exhorts Timothy to live out his vocation. Now, we can easily forget that Paul is writing the letter from prison, awaiting his hearing and sentence, and that Timothy isn't in an easy situation either, as we can tell from Paul's first letter, wherein the apostle to the Gentiles mentions Timothy's health, the different errors running around, the problems of the rich, people sinning publicly, problems with the presbyters, among others. In addition, Timothy's own family must have been rather interesting. Here we heard Paul mention his grandmother and mother, but in Acts, in chapter 16, verse 1, we're told that while Timothy's mother is a Jewess and a believer, his dad is a Greek Gentile. The implication is that he doesn't even believe in Christ. Yet in spite of this, in spite of all these problems, what Timothy has is a sincere faith. That word sincere, anupokritos, means free from selfish motives, with nothing phony. Even if he doesn't understand God's way, even if he doesn't know how much longer he's going to have to put up with these sufferings, Timothy knows in whom he has believed, and he trusts. Paul tells us that the spirit of cowardice isn't from God. Neither is the spirit of fear. It's the spirit of faith that comes from God. And it's this spirit that encourages us to move forward. In difficult moments, sometimes our faith can grow sluggish, especially when these difficulties and discouragements start to mount. Paul gives Timothy the remedy. Stir into flame the gift of God. Literally what he says is to bring the fire to life again. Go back to the beginning and start over. This is an essential part of the spiritual life, and many of the saints bear witness to it. For instance, writing in a letter, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton put it this way. She said, "The heart, down, discouraged at constant failure and good resolution, so disturbed by trifles, so little interior recollection and forgetfulness of his constant presence. The reproaches of disobedience to the little ones, which are much more applicable to myself. So many communions and confessions with so little fruit often suggest the idea of lessening them. To fly from the fountain while dying or in danger of dying from thirst." Unfortunately, in the midst of her interior struggles, a priest gave Elizabeth Ann Seton the same advice Paul gave to Timothy. And he told her, "Begin again today, my child. What is lost must not cause dejection. what you have gained spiritually will be lost if you do not begin again as if nothing had been done. Begin again today, my child. It's that spirit of faith, St. Paul tells us, that gives us power to overcome obstacles and to work miracles, to love to care for others. It gives us self-control and prudence and docility to God's will. So today, through the intercession of Mary, the Mother of Faith, and Saints Timothy and Paul, let's ask for the grace to not grow discouraged, but to constantly start over as many times as needed until we grow in virtue and become saints.
If you found this video fruitful, please feel free to share it with a friend or family member. Or if you would like to learn more about our missionary priests throughout the world and how to support them, please visit iveamerica.org. Thank you for watching, and God bless.